So another thing that I wanna discuss about, and don't take this in a negative way, because just for the viewers too, I have lived in Pakistan for 15 years, and like I mentioned to you before, majority of my friends, like if I'm saying 95%, probably that's even a lower number that I'm saying. 95% of my friends are Muslims, and out of those Muslim friends that I have, most of them were like from your faith, the Shia community. And this is what is my personal view or learning or understanding for of people from your community, is that their faith is stronger than the rest of the Muslims that I see. You're living in Canada. I have a lot of females that I know who live in Canada, just like you. Some of them born and brought up here. Some of them migrated from Pakistan, but their faith is very strong. Their values are very strong. Just like you, they would not indulge themselves, which goes against their religion. I'm not saying the rest of the community or the people in that from the same religion, from Islam, do that. But particularly I find this, that people from Shia community have very strong rooted values. Like you cannot bend those values. I'm sorry. And this is not a bad point. This is a very good point. I want to understand, where does that come from? Because you were not born in Pakistan. Middle East is not a Shia promoting, you can say, society. In fact, there are a lot of issues that if you're from your faith, a lot of people from Pakistan don't even get a tourist visa. And if you're, I know a lot of people who were working in the Middle East and they were deported just because they share the same belief that you do. So there's a lot of that going on, but it does not take away the fact that people from your community, be it men or women, I have seen them just have the strongest of values. And they are not, not ready is not the right way. Maybe you can correct me in that, but they're just not accepting of anything else, you know? Although they were not born and brought up in a society as such. So where does that come from? I've always wanted to ask this question to someone, and I personally, when I was looking at your profile, I was like, probably she's the right person to ask to, because you were not born and brought up in Pakistan, but you were in Middle East and then in Canada, yet you advocate because you understand it well. Not only you're advocating because, oh, someone told you to. That's not the type of journalism I believe you follow. As long as you believe in it, that's how you are trying to share the message out there in the public. Where does that come from?
Thank you so much. I'm very honored. This compliment is going to keep me glowing for the next few weeks, yes. I'm sure. And I'm going to hold it very close to my heart, because it's an honor that somebody who has just recently met me, this is how they hold my content, you know, in their eyes. I'm so happy. First things first, 4 years ago, I started my Muharam series.
Okay.
That Muharam is, like I had just spoken about Imam Hussein, who was the Prophet's grandson, and he refused to pay allegiance to a tyrant ruler. And despite trying to do political negotiations, because he, of course, did not want to immediately indulge in war. That's not what Islam teaches you. Islam teaches you to be tolerant, to be patient. But then again, it also teaches you to always side with whatever is right.
Correct.
Despite those political negotiations, the tyrant ruler, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, refused to agree to anything. And as a form of standing up for the divine message, Imam Hussein took 72 of his warriors, along with the women and children, to the land of Iraq, Karbala.
Yep.
And the reason why he took the women and children was to show that I don't want to start war off immediately. You don't take your women and children somewhere when you know that there's a war going to happen. You protect them. But that was one of the main reasons why Imam Hussein said that, no, I'm going to take the women and children, especially because just to show that war is not my first option. And those 72 warriors were up against thousands of individuals.
Hundreds and thousands
of Yazid ibn Muawiyah's army. But still, on the 10th of Muharram, which is the 10th of the Islamic month, you know, beginning.
The calendar,
the calendar. They had the massacre of Karbala. And it was not even a war that lasted for one whole day. It just lasted for a few hours from the time of Fajr, which is dawn, till the time of Asr, which is midday. What I particularly find beautiful, and that's what Imam Hussein's sister, Lady Zainab, had said, the Prophet's granddaughter, that when Yazid had asked her in the court that, look what God did to you, she said, I see nothing but beauty. because they sacrificed themselves for what was the path of truth.
Mm.
Islam would have been distorted. The values would have been completely destroyed if it wasn't for these women who were advocating for what Imam Hussein attained martyrdom for. So basically, this entire journey and this entire political movement, revolutionary movement, the spiritual sacrifice is what my Muharam series is about.
Okay.
The reason why you say that Shias are so rooted in their beliefs is because we believe in academic, authentic research. There have been many individuals who reached out to me from the Sunni community worldwide, and they said we had no idea this was happening, this had happened, and that this was a part of Islamic history because it's been completely closed. It's not open for discussion. And in the Middle East, completely. Like you have to hide your Shia identity. And to a certain extent, I was told by my parents not to do it because I wear Imam Ali's sword, the Zulfiqar, very regularly. And it's a pointed sword. One of the points is for truth and the other is representing justice. And it's a core symbolism for Shias. So I remember when I was going to university, my parents sat me down. I was a very fiery teenager. And they said, Hira, it's best that maybe you don't wear it because, you know, we have government officials who are undercover. They're always pinpointing Shias for no reason. They deport them. Absolutely no reason. There was a joke during Muharam when Shias used to come together. Oh, you didn't get deported this year? Yeah, we didn't. It was very normal. But it was a serious matter. Of course, we would joke about it. It's dark humor, but it's a serious problem. When it comes down to Shias in Pakistan, I feel like there's more work that needs to be done. I'm saying this through my Muharram series. When I interact with Shia content creators, it's more towards the cultural practices of Muharram and how it's commemorated, the traditions, rather than the academic perspective of it.
Okay.
There are some who still focus on that, but not in so much of depth, which is why, as a journalist, I apply my Muharram series to my Muharram series, what I've learned in school.
Okay.
It's doing research, providing authentic resources. And I'm not saying that I only focus on Shia resources. I have done extensive research in Sunni books as well, which basically proves the divine status of Imam Hussein, of his brothers, of his grandchildren who came after that. And not just that, but the Battle of Karbala in itself. There are some Islamic leaders, unfortunately, who actually say that, oh, you know, this battle between Imam Hussein and Yazid was a battle of two princes. Oh my God. How can anybody sane say that? How can anybody who has studied Islam actually make that claim? And such Islamic leaders are in the most negative way influencing the masses. Because you being a minority from Pakistan, I being a minority from Pakistan, we know the struggle of our people. We don't need individuals to, you know, ignite that flame even more so with unauthentic. So my focus is always to do my Muharram series in an academic way. You will find a reference for each post, for each tradition that is commemorated. You will find an explanation for it. And that is the reason why I guess Shias are so strong in their faith and their practices, because there's logic behind it. There's a lot of logic behind it. And particularly when it comes to Muharram, what I love is the fact that my intention to bridge the divide between Shias and Sunnis has, alhamdulillah, been a success. Thank God that he allowed me and gave me the chance to try being that bridge, because I have so many Sunni friends who never spoke about this, who now talk to me about it. Oh, what's Muharram? What's going on? You're going to Iraq again for a pilgrimage. You went here. What's the significance? They want to learn more. And the misconceptions are also eradicated through the posts. In fact, to be honest, the most purposeful that I feel in my existence is during that month, because Muharram is not just a time to mourn the widowed women, the orphan children who were tortured by Yazid ibn Muawiyah's entire commander's army, whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't even call them humans for the atrocities that they inflicted upon them. But also, it is showing you on how to be on the path of truth, justice, and humanity. You ask me about Palestine, why am I always advocating for it? Or any other atrocity that is happening in the world. For example,
Russia and Ukraine.
Exactly. Very excellent example. Why is it so easy for me to differentiate truth from tyranny? It's because my roots go back to Imam Hussein
Hmm.
and to the Battle of Karbala. That is where it's rooted from. I feel like if you hold on to that bit of your Shia faith, you can implement it into any aspect of your life and it helps you navigate through.